Well, Thursday's Dallas ambush and the killing of 5 police officers has brought in mixed reactions on social media. Memorials across the country are filled with flowers and letters as some protesters take to Instagram and Twitter calling police pigs, and others reportedly chant, "We should shoot you," to police at a violent protest in Phoenix. Ron Haskow, president of the Law Enforcement Defense Fund, former assistant director of the FBI, joins us. Put aside for a moment what's happening on social media. President Obama wrapped up a press conference a little more than an hour ago. In that, he talked about the death of 2 African Americans at the hands of police, one in Louisiana, one in Minnesota. People have said those are under questionable circumstances. He talked about them, talked about their names. He did not mention or honor the names of those 5 Dallas police officers. What message do you think that sends?
It sends the wrong message. That has been where this president has been consistently wrong in his entire term of office. He has too often been the divider in chief. He has too often leapt to conclusions about questionable police shootings where questions are logical and responsible and reasonable and should be asked and answered. But he has somehow managed to get to the conclusion before any finding of fact.
So court of public opinion rather than the court of justice, which at least in Ferguson and in Baltimore so far has cleared a number of police officers. I was struck also by Attorney General Lynch yesterday, less than 24 hours after the shootings in Dallas. And she says to the protesters, which clearly, some of them at least, inspired this shooter, or so says the Dallas police chief, she says to the protesters, don't be discouraged.
Right. So, look, I'm entirely for the First Amendment and responsible protest and the question and answers that should occur following a police incident of this nature or incidents of this nature to them. And so was the Dallas Police Department. They were protecting this protest, they were guarding it, and they were ultimately victimized by their location in it. For the most part, I support the Attorney General's comments yesterday because they were, by and large, uniting. They reflected, I think, a gravity of the situation, and I want to, pull my comments towards the middle too. But we have too many people who are on the outside, too many people who are throwing flames, and unfortunately, in America, too many people who will be motivated or inspired by some of those incendiary comments.
Important to note, the president was asked sort of point blank to comment on this shooter's motivations, if you will. And we know from the Dallas police chief who said he was upset because of the Black Lives Matter movement and recent police shootings wanting to kill white people, especially white officers. The president sort of wrote it off as somebody with a troubled mind. Is that troublesome for law enforcement as they start to try and prevent attacks like these in the future, to hear that sort of whitewashing by the president?
Absolutely. We have, and we've come to expect this in law enforcement, where the president, given any opportunity, opts against the police. He opines against the police. He doesn't wait for the facts to come out. Despite being a trained attorney, he disregards the facts, he disregards the process, and he moves to the conclusion, race.
Ron Haskow, former assistant director of the FBI, now with the Law Enforcement Defense Fund. Appreciate your time, sir.
Pleasure being.
Thanks so much.
Great insight, Ron. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Long 3 hours here in Washington.